latest updates, entertaining wholesome content, and behind-the-scene peaks. We're on Instagram at Wells Radio 893, Facebook Wells Radio 893 FM fan page, X Wells Radio 893. Follow our WhatsApp channel Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Get a scoop on upcoming shows, giveaways, and events. Also get to interact with your favorite presenters and share your thoughts on our posts and stories. Join the conversation and stay tuned into Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
studio time check says it's 36 minutes past 6 a.m. Today, the 20th day in January of 2026. And I choose to say, like I've been saying the whole of this January, that God is good. Because when did we, say Happy New Year? And we're already 11 days to the end of January. My excitement is twofold, because we always say that January is always so long. And so, yes, I'm glad that we're nearing the end of January. But at the same time, I'm also glad that I'm alive and well to see this day. I hope you are too. Good morning to you. Welcome to Perspectives Unlimited on Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio. We're broadcasting live from the Wells Broadcasting House. It's located along Alafin Avenue, Uliole State, Ibadan. That's where we're broadcasting from this morning. Kindly follow us on all our social media platforms at Wells Radio 893 FM fan page on Facebook and Wells Radio 893 FM on other social media platforms such as X, Instagram, and TikTok. You can listen to us live via our website, www.wellsradio893.com. Once again, good morning, and thank you for joining us. My name is Bolanle Oduekun-Ayoola, and we'll be taking a look at headlines and stories making the rounds across the different dailies in Nigeria. We'll be taking a look at these headlines, discussing them, going beyond the news to help you make sense of these stories this morning. I hope you're ready. Buckle up your seatbelts, because here we go. We'll take a look at headlines this morning from several dailies. We'll start with the Punch newspaper. Taking a look at the headlines. And the lead headlines on the Punch newspaper says, Amnesty deal. Outrage mounts as Katsina moves to release 70 bandits. Tinubu told to stop release of bandits on trial. ACF, Afenifere, others slammed Katsina government over amnesty deal. That story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. More headlines. Federal government votes 10 million naira for Abuja runway after scrapping 532 billion naira deal. That's on page 23. Kano governor meets Tinubu amidst defection talks. That's on page 10. Military discovers Boko Haram underground storage and fuel dump. That's on page 3. The job scam syndicate luring Nigerians into Ukraine-Russia war. That's on pages 18 and 19 of the Punch newspaper this morning. More headlines. Banks record rising loan defaults amid strong demands. That's from the CBN, and that's on page 23. DSS arrests Malami after release from Kuje prison. You find that story on page 7. Ekitipo, PDP, SDP rejects exclusion from INEC final list. You find that on page 7 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Taking a look at more headlines, we'll take a look at stories on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, which are very similar. DSS arrests Malami after release from Kuje prison. That story is on page 4. Alleged cyberbullying. Police file 6-count charge against Toun Onojobi. Remand doctor for issuing alleged fake report for her. That's on page 21. Ekiti poll. PDP, SDP missing. INEC clears APC. 11 others in final candidates list. That story is on page 15. Federal government denies citing gold refinery in Lagos. That story is on page 2. Ondo judicial crisis deepens as budget cuts. Autonomy dispute paralyze courts. We've resolved our differences. They should resume soon, says Ondo Justice Commissioner. That's on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. More headlines. Alleged abduction of 100 worshippers. No one was kidnapped in Kaduna, say police, local government chairman. And in finance, IMF raises Nigeria's 2026 growth forecast to 4.4%. That story can be found on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, page 5. Now, taking a look at more headlines this morning, on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, the lead headline says, 1 year after, 50% telco tariff hike leaves operators happier, consumers frustrated. That's what is on page 6 this morning. And there's a whole analysis, to that. You can pick up a copy of the Guardian newspaper for details. More headlines. Federal government to appeal judgment on attack against journalists. That's on page 4. Court strikes out Meta X as federal government rearranges Showore on amended cyberbullying charges. That's on page 30. More headlines. Sanwo-Olu signs 2026 4.4 trillion naira budget into law. That's on page 7. APC closes in on Kano as state chairman hopeful of Yusuf's defection. That's on page 6. Kano killings, Tinubu others probe as state takes over prosecution. That story is on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Federal government contractors on warpath over 4 trillion naira debt. That's on page 3. And finally, FCTA kicks as workers begin indefinite strike. That story is on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Those and many more are the stories we'll be discussing about this morning. And of course, I have my able analyst with me in the studio, Mr. Chukwuemeka Kaminachi. So good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Bola.
How do you do?
I'm okay.
All right. The front page of the Guardian newspaper has the story about telcos. It says 1 year after, telco tariff hike leaves operators happy and consumers frustrated. It's a report put together by the Guardian newspaper. And I want to cast our mind back quickly to when the telecommunications companies had demanded or had insisted that they were going to raise their charges, and many people had cried out and said, you can't just raise your charges on a whim. People cannot afford it. For both the internet and airtime, these things are very important to our everyday living, and you can't just increase it. And then the NCC, I believe, came into the matter, and the NCC said, look, you can't increase it by so percent. We can only allow you to increase it by so percent, which they did. But what consumers have seen after that is that many telcos have not dealt with their consumers from a place of trust. Now, we've seen several cases. I myself have a friend of mine who had such a case as well, where people recharge data and claim that their data was just
wiped off,
without them actually using up to that amount of data. And same goes for airtime as well. Some have complained that I recharged so airtime and it was wiped clean. And while many may not have the opportunity to go on social media to tag these companies or to drag them, as we say, what do you think that the NCC and the FCCPC should be doing at this time?
You see, Bola, this issue you brought up this morning is something that a lot of Nigerians are passing through. Broadband failures. You understand? And the NCC appears to have left Nigerians on their own. And the major function or duty of NCC is to safeguard exploitation, to make sure that Nigerians are not thrown under the bus of these telcos. But it appears that Nigerians are left like orphans. There is no, daily people are disconnected and still pay for services that are not rendered.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm coming.
Because the internet connection has also declined.
Everything. And that goes to show the kind of society and government and leadership that we have. When citizens are left on their own for multinationals and telcos and everything to exploit, what do you expect? Now, small businesses suffer loss of time. You go to bank to go and make withdrawals, and they tell you there's no internet.
There's no
I'm coming. But there is a lot of issues. And NCC appears to go to, not to, can they say they don't know what's going on in Nigeria?
What's the place of the FCCPC?
Their job is to make sure that these things will work and that the citizens get value for what they pay for. But we are left on our own. Just like what is happening in power generation and transmission and everything. People still pay for darkness. That is exactly that is happening in the business of as the internet and as whatever. You understand? So and then people have resorted to. That's why if you see some people, they tell you that do you know the worst of all? Once you borrow airtime, you are on your own. Just say hello, everything is gone. You pay again, and they will still take money from you. And we thought that once you have increased the tariff, there must be people must be giving value for what they pay for. But it doesn't happen. And Bola, do you know the emotional trauma that this thing is causing? I will give you an example. A lady visited the family and traveled back to Port Harcourt. They wanted to connect to know whether she has gotten to her destination. No way. They tried and tried and tried. No way. The whole family was in panic because of what is happening in our country. Lo and behold, around midnight, the girl picked. They asked her, "Did you switch off your phone?" He said no. She didn't switch off her phone. That she too was trying to connect to the parents. Just look at the trauma the parents went through. The phone, and at times you will call. You receive a call. When you call back, the number you have you just dial is not reachable. No, apart from reachable, no, not even switch off. It's not allocated.
and this brings me to a conversation.
How do you? No, and I can't understand. Look at some of these even this digital television and everything. Put on your something due to bad weather. There's no connection. Does it mean that if rain is about to fall, we can't even watch television? I don't understand what.
I mean, on that note, most people don't even have power supply when rain falls. Talk less of, because in this part of Nigeria, if you have power supply while it's raining, you should suspect, because the next thing you hear is that something has gotten spoiled because of the rain.
No,
right? So we're probably not yet at that level.
But it is worrisome that citizens should be left on their own, and there is no intervention, and there is a body or an agency saddled with the responsibility of overseeing what these people are doing with the citizens.
Now, this also brings me to another conversation that we may not be able to have today, but I hope that probably on any of our other shows we can have this conversation. We've had of recent, and this is not even recent, it's been happening for a while, of telcos, probably if I have a phone number, I bought a SIM from a telco and I have a phone number, but for some reason I either lost the SIM card and I did not go back to get it again. Now telcos have started to recycle numbers, old numbers that are no longer, if you haven't used your SIM, if you haven't recharged, you don't have it anymore, if you haven't used it for at least 6 months or a year, best believe that it has already been recycled, another SIM has been produced, and that number has been given to someone else. But the problem with issues like that is that some of these people, are able to use that number to scam other people. And there's also the case of sometimes those numbers, probably because you think like, it's just 6 months that I haven't used it, right? And it should be dormant, not that it should be given to another person. I've seen a live case here, where someone else, that number was connected to the bank account of the initial owner. So apparently the new owner of the SIM had been getting the bank messages. Because the owner of the SIM initially had gone to the bank to say, I'm no longer using this number. Remove it from the numbers stated to my account, but they didn't do that. And so apparently the new owner of the SIM had been getting messages, and one day the devil pushed her and she decided to recharge airtime of 10,000 naira. I mean, I wonder how she guessed the PIN of the other person, but she used the USSD and she recharged 10,000 naira from the lady's account. And on getting to the service provider, they said, we've reallocated the number. There's nothing we can do about it.
Imagine.
Can we have a standard process?
There's no standard.
Because of this reallocation of numbers, this was a very long time ago. A certain young man was arrested for impersonating the president's, I think, daughter or niece. And he was locked up. Thank God for activism. So what had happened was that she was using that particular SIM card before, and she probably lost it or she had stopped using it. And then this young man had gone to buy a SIM from the same network provider, and they sold him the phone number that she was using before. And so when probably someone tried to call the number, and then this young man picked, and they said, I want to speak to this person. And the young man said, no, I'm the owner of the number. And they tracked this young man and arrested him. He was under arrest for a while, before, thank God for activism. He was then released because it was through no fault of his.
Yes.
And so can we have a proper process?
I'm coming, Bola. Do you know why when some of these multinationals come into our country, they first of all look at the body language of the government? Do they really care for their citizens? Once they discover that the government does not care about the citizens, they will do whatever they can. Now, what they do in Nigeria, do they do it in their own country where they come from? They don't do that. Because you know that when you do that, you go to jail. But here, when they come, the first thing they will do is that they will go and get one veteran politician and make him their chairman. So that when they because they will run foul of the law, the man will come and defend them. Bola, I keep asking this question: why are we treated this way as a people? I have been to some African countries here. Do you know in Ghana, I recharged my phone, the number I was allocated to. There was a problem. Immediately I called the
service provider.
Yes. The customer care. They told me that just hold on. Within 10 minutes, we'll resolve it and get back to you. Do you know they resolved it and called me back? Can we do it in Nigeria here? I recharged something here in Nigeria here. The thing didn't go. Do you know I went to their office? They didn't even listen to me. That thing went. Because there is no standard here. Everything has collapsed. And what we are doing is people just behave anyhow they like. And when these companies come into Nigeria, they look at us and see the way we are doing and say that this place, there's no rule of engagement. Just do what you like. And that's why Nigerians are treated this way. Their country of origin, do they do it? They don't do it. You can't do it. Because you know that when you do it, government will come after you. But here they know that government does not care about the people. So they do whatever they want to do. That is why you make a call with your phone. Somebody has picked and you don't know the person. How come the lines are, is it that they're interfering us? People have told me that, where did you leave your phone that I called you? It was one woman that picked, and the woman was speaking outside to me. I said, which phone? Which number did you call? And it's my number. And yet I don't have any outside woman that is speaking outside. How come? So what is going on? And they keep on selling SIM card. If you know that the ones you have sold that you can, why are you still selling SIM card? Because there is no standard. Anybody just make money and go. Forget about providing. If they come and they know that when we pay for light, we have light, they will not do it. But when they know that we pay for darkness and we don't get light, we don't even complain. They will do whatever they want to do. So it is absolutely wrong. This broadband failure has caused a lot of problem across board. If you go to the street and ask many people, they will tell you their experiences. They are not enjoying it at all.
All right, let's move on to other stories this morning before we have to take a break at 7 a.m. Amnesty deal. Outrage mounts at Katsina moves to release 70 bandits. We talked about this last week on the show, and I'm sure that some of our ardent listeners, like Mr. George and maybe Mr. Salami, will probably hear this and be like, well, I spoke about this last week. So last week, I believe last week Thursday, we saw this in the news, where the Katsina State Commissioner for Internal Security had said that the community had come up with a peace deal with bandits, to say that they would release 70 of them and would also go further to grant them, some further concessions, like allowing them to visit the market freely, allowing them to visit their relatives, go to the bank, get healthcare in the hospitals, and in return, these bandits will not harm them. The Commissioner for Internal Security went on to say that, of course, the government, will not negotiate with bandits, But whatever the community people want to do, they cannot stop them from doing it. They just have to support them. And I remember that someone had called that day and said, how do we expect the law enforcement officers who arrested these people to feel? Will they feel safe? And I made an analogy to say that it's just a case of having someone come into your home and rape your wife and children, and then they're taken to the police station or prison or whatever, and then the people in your surrounding area come and say, so that he will not come back again to do such. Let's release him, let's grant him the permission to visit your house and eat, so he won't do something bad. It's very ridiculous. Now, prominent social political organizations like Afenifere, the Ariwa Consultative Forum, Ohaneze Ndigbo, the Middle Belt Forum, and others have expressed outrage over this plan by the Katsina State government to release 70 bandits as part of measures to patch up a floundering peace pact with bandit leaders. The groups, in separate interviews with The Punch, described the move as reckless and a danger to national security, calling on the federal government to halt the provocative action. Also, religious and community leaders in Katsina State voiced strong opposition to the proposed amnesty for the bandits, whom they described as a grave threat to the state. Katsina State is currently dealing with a surge in bandit attacks, with over 1,500 civilians killed between 2021 and 2025. And recently, the state government approved the release of 70 suspected bandits as part of a peace deal with armed groups. And this move has sparked controversy, with critics arguing that it undermines justice and emboldens criminals. While The Punch said they couldn't confirm on Monday whether the bandits had been released or not, ministry officials in Katsina State declined comments on this issue.
Bola, you see, you should not be surprised because this is a society where, like I said, there is no standard. Anybody can come up with anything. And you don't blame the governor. How did he emerge as a governor? Who is he? Is there how was he selected to occupy that kind of position? That's where we start from. Because we have reduced governance to the level whereby anybody, once you have money, you have the connection, you can occupy any position. Was it not in this country an army general told the PRI world that if you are a Boko Haram and you repent, you can occupy any office in Nigeria? Didn't you hear it? Yes, the man made it open. He said it, that if you repent today, you can even be the president of Nigeria. Imagine. And what a governor is doing now, is he not in tandem with what that man said? So why are we so bothered? You understand? It's very, very ridiculous that a sitting governor, people who have killed, people who have shed blood, people who have raped, you will now say, and they took them to court, judges sat over the judgment. How do you expect those judges to feel? How do you expect those who arrested them to feel? And tomorrow we will come up and be talking that banditry is on the rise. And we are enabling them to do what they are doing. Bola, a nation where there is no national ethos, we don't agree, there is nothing we agree on as a country. There is no red line you cannot cross. You can't have a responsible leadership. What makes a nation to grow is that there are national ethos. There are some things you cannot do within that country. Is there anything people cannot do in this country and get away with it? Just tell me. Tell me one thing. No.
Before I answer your question, we'll take a short break.
Okay, let's take a short break.
When we come back from that break, this very important conversation will continue. Don't go anywhere. It's Perspectives Unlimited on Wells Radio 89.3 FM.
89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
How long will it take you to confirm payment? I have been waiting for the past 1 hour. I'm so sorry. Our network is slow. I will just run out of data.
Same excuse yesterday. It is unacceptable, please. You better switch to One Data Internet Service.
One Data?
Yes, One Data. One Data is an internet service provider with the best alternative and solution for unlimited speed. One Data provides fast and reliable internet service to organizations, homes, and places of interest in Nigeria. With One Data, you get to enjoy the premium internet service with dedicated unlimited internet speed at all times, 24/7 fantastic customer service and support, and you enjoy a 1-month free subscription when you make payment. Now is the time to say goodbye to downtimes. Sign up with One Data today on 0811 223 2671 or visit www.onedata.ng for more inquiries. One Data, unlimited speed.
Christ Ambassadors International College is a private, co-educational Christian day and boarding school located at Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. We offer a blend of Nigerian and British curricula designed to nurture global leaders with godly values. With world-class facilities, exciting co-curricular programs, exceptional pastoral care, and outstanding academic results, we ensure your child's dream becomes a reality. Our entrance examination for 2026-2027 academic session will hold on Saturday, 14th February 2026 at 8 a.m. For inquiries, please call 0704 530 8414 or 0814 177 2806 or visit www.christambassadorscollege.com. Christ Ambassadors International College, nurturing global and godly scholars.
Are you hungry for something delicious? Food that feels like home but tastes like pure luxury? Then welcome to Honeydew Restaurant, where every meal is made to make you smile. From our smoky jollof to rich ofada sauce to a variety of delicious soups like egusi, eforiro, and more, paired with your favorite proteins and hot, freshly made swallows, all made for you to enjoy. We also handle bulk orders in liters, fresh and ready whenever you need it. We deliver it to your doorstep. At Honeydew, it's not just the food, it's the feel. With our beautiful ambience, perfect for your romantic dates, family outings, or your quiet, relaxing evening escape. Join us every last Friday of the month at 7 p.m. for karaoke night with Jayola and enjoy music, games, food, drinks, and free mocktails and cocktails as you sing your hearts out. Visit us at Plot 42, Block 8, Alaafi Avenue, beside Wells Radio, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. For your doorstep delivery or inquiries, call or WhatsApp 0814-691-6635, 0814-691-6635. Honeydew Restaurant, where every meal is made to make you smile.
You're welcome back. It's still Perspectives Unlimited on Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio, your number one family radio in the whole of Oyo State. We're also taking a look at headlines and stories making the rounds across the different dailies in Nigeria. It's Perspectives Unlimited, and my name is Bolanle Oduekun-Ayoola. We have our analyst, Mr. Chukweme Kamunachi. And before the break, we were talking about the proposed release of 70 bandits in Katsina State. Now, you were going to say something before the break, but I'll just quickly read from Section 11 of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. We have laws because, these laws are supposed to guide us as to what to do in certain things. That's why some people came together to write these things. So, Section 11 says, a person who, A, kidnaps or commits an attack on an internationally protected person, B, murders an internationally protected person, C. Carries out a violent attack on the official premises, private accommodation, or means of transport of an internationally protected person, or threatened to commit any such attack, commits an offense and is liable on conviction to at least 25 years and up to a maximum of life imprisonment where death does not result from the acts referred to in paragraphs A and C. Also, death penalty where death results from the acts in paragraphs A, B, or C, or in the case of offense under paragraph D, to a term of imprisonment of at least 20 years. Section 12 says a person who knowingly arranges, manages, assists in arranging or managing, participates in a meeting or an activity which in his knowledge is concerned or connected with an act of terrorism or terrorist group. B. Collects or provides logistics, equipment, information, articles, or facilitates for a meeting or an activity which in his knowledge is concerned or connected with an act of terrorism or terrorist groups. Or C. Attends a meeting which in his knowledge is to support a prescribed entity or to further the objectives of a prescribed entity, commits an offense, and is liable on conviction to imprisonment for at least 20 years. So the laws are very clear. Why then why is it such a struggle?
It's not about laws, Bola. If it's about law, Nigeria would have been a paradise. It's about implementation. And don't forget, these people have a huge sense of entitlement. That, whatever we want to get, we will get it, irrespective of whatever anybody is saying. And you don't run a state that way. You don't. I was saying something before we went on that short break. A country where we don't have national ethos, forget about the constitution. We don't have something we believe in as a country. There is no red line anybody cannot cross. There are some countries where this governor that is toying with this idea will not even dare it because he knows the consequences. But here, there are no consequences. Some people will hide under religion because we have weaponized religion and ethnicity to do whatever we want to do. If you come against, because he's not of this religion, why we are doing it because he's our people. Why is he killing our people? Why are you putting them in jail? But you forget that there is an entity called Nigeria, which must be protected. How many of them are protecting this country? Do they even believe in the country? Do they even believe that, look, we must create a society where people are normal? You want to release people that were arrested by security operatives after toiling day and night to track these people. You took them to court, judges sat down, wasted their time, convicted them, and you want to release them. And you tell me that society is normal. It's an abnormal society. I want to see what will be the reaction of the federal government over this matter.
We definitely want to see, the reaction of federal, because this, unfortunately, should never have gotten to this point where, even the Katsina state government is even thinking of releasing these people. And
Bola, look, let me even add something. The international community is looking at us. These people, what is wrong with these people? They are looking. And tomorrow we go outside the country and say we are looking for investors to come to Nigeria. How will they come in a society where you release criminals? They won't come. First of all, put your house in order. Investors will come on their own because they want to do business with you, not you running around to go and beg them to. They won't come. Once you start begging them, they suspect that something is wrong with your place. Why are you coming to beg me to come and invest when I'm going to make money? You stay in your house, put your house in order. Investors will come.
All right. Thank you so much for your contributions. Now, the phone lines are open, and we welcome contributions from you, our dear listener. 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 0911-333-3893. I'll take the numbers again. 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 0911-333-3893. These are the numbers to call to be a part of the conversation this morning. Many more headlines making the rounds across the different dailies in Nigeria. Over 170 worshippers abducted as bandits raid Kaduna churches. We've heard. Okay, let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is George. I'm calling from Oduekun-Ayoola.
Good morning, Mr. George. You're welcome.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you, people, for telling us what is going on. And I want to this morning say that we know those who are causing problems in this country. And those who are who are sponsoring or who are sending people to come and kill our citizens and terrorize this nation. There is no other sign that we are looking for before we come to conclusion of whoever it is that is making Nigeria to pass through what we are passing through. These people that are doing what is against the laws of this land, they are the ones behind all the terrors that we have in this country. Good morning.
Thank you so much for your contribution, Mr. George. All right, the phone lines are open. Please join us and let's have your contribution. 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 0911-333-3893. Now, this story is on the Daily Trust newspaper, where it says that bandits have raided churches in Bolanle community in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, abducting over 170 worshippers. They say churches like Ekwa and the Cherubim and Seraphim churches were affected by the attack. They say that 9 vulnerable persons among the victims later returned home. And the Northern Can chairman, Reverend Joseph John Hyab, confirmed to Daily Trust the attack, describing the incident. He said, "I don't like talking about the figures, but the figures I got from the area is 172, and they were said to have been abducted, and 9 managed to escape, with the remaining 163 people still with the abductors." He said, "It's a very tough and sad thing, but we will not give up. The security agencies and the government are making efforts towards restoration of peace in Kaduna, and we are happy about it." Now, but before then, we did see a headline on the Punch newspaper, on the Punch newspaper front page, yes, that said something close to the fact that, not the Punch newspaper, sorry, I want to get the accurate paper. Okay, this was from the police in Kaduna. They say that no one was kidnapped in Kaduna, but the Daily Trust is telling us otherwise, saying that people have been, kidnapped in Kaduna State. And we're still in an ongoing conversation with President Donald Trump about the persecution of Christians. Where does this tie in?
No, you see, we cannot continue to live in denial. You understand what I'm saying? So, and when you lie, why it is not good to tell lies is that when you lie, you keep on producing more lies to cover the other lie, and you keep on, amplifying the lies that you have told. I think it was yesterday, some people were fleeing Sokoto. In one community in Sokoto, they were fleeing to other places. Sokoto state government came out to say that, no, they were not running away, they were relocating. Relocating as how? How can somebody leave his house? Instead of telling the world that, look, there is still there's banditry going on. People are being attacked. You say people are fleeing. They are leaving their houses to go and stay where? How can somebody leave his house to go to another place to stay in a normal condition? Now, if you look at what is happening in Kaduna, it has been an age-long thing. It didn't start today. People who are claiming that there is no Christian genocide, there is no. I'm not that killings are not going on. Yes, killings are going on daily basis. What is the government reaction to these killings? The purpose of any government is to safeguard lives and property. Are we safeguarding? You see, I will still come back to what I told you about broadband failure. These people look at what is going on in our country. Government does not even care about these people. If they do, why should 170 people be abducted and nothing is happening? Now, what stops us from doing business anyhow we like? Because we know that nobody will call us to order. If we are in a society where lives matter, and Kaduna is a Kasana, the governor that is mulling the idea of releasing bandits Now, these people that are attacking, they are hearing this thing we are talking about. They read newspaper, they watch it. They know that, oh, even if we do all these things and we go to court, chances are that later they will pardon us in the name of peace and we go back to what we are doing. These people are not talking about how do we engage. You see, Bola, for these people to solve their problem, they must tell themselves the truth. Look, I don't believe that everybody must go to university, but everybody must have a vocation. Everybody must have you have a skill. What is government doing to develop these people? Human capital development, where is it? Because these guys that are doing this thing, many of them may not even have any hard work. Many of them may not even have anything at all to do, and they see extremism, banditry, and terrorism as a shadow economy, where they can use to, because it has become an industry. If it's not an industry and they are stakeholders, that is why they are investing their life in these nefarious activities, knowing full well that the state is weak, and when they are apprehended, somebody will give them amnesty in the name of a peace deal. So, what we are seeing right now is that if we don't tackle this, Bola, I'm afraid that most young people will believe that this is a good way of making a living, which is not.
It's definitely not, and we want to discourage that. It's very good to have a vocation, have, as they call it,
have skills. Expose these young people to where they can get their meal ticket.
Very true. Let's move on to other stories this morning quickly. In Oyo State, yesterday, the Oyo State House of Assembly sat on a matter that affects many people. I'll take this. This is on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. The headline says, Oyo Assembly to regulate house agents. That's from the speaker. Now, the speaker of the Oyo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Adebo Ogundoyin, has announced plans to regulate the activities of house agents in the state to curb widespread extortion and exploitation. Ogundoyin made this known at the maiden annual stakeholders meeting organized by the Oyo State Agency for Youth Development, held at the House of Chiefs Parliament Building, Secretariat, Ibadan. The meeting brought together representatives of registered youth organizations and associations across the state. Now, during the interactive session, several youth leaders raised concerns over the alarming rate of extortion by house agents, lamenting that unregulated practices have made access to housing increasingly difficult and unaffordable for residents. Responding, the speaker disclosed that the Oyo State House of Assembly would constitute a committee to draft a bill aimed at regulating the activities of house agents and curbing their excesses. He assured stakeholders that the proposed legislation will be concluded and transmitted to Governor Seyi Makinde for assent before the end of the first quarter of the year. Now, according to him, let me just read in his words. He said this bill will demonstrate how serious the leadership of the House is about addressing extortion by house agents. It will protect residents from exploitation and bring long-awaited relief to the people. The speaker described himself as a representative and a voice of the young people in governance, stressing the need for deliberate and sustained investment in youth development. House agents in Oyo State and several other states in Nigeria. I know that when I was, my first time of renting an apartment was when I got into the university. And then what was standard was that if you were renting a room of 50,000 naira, 10% would go to the agents. That's what we got to know. And even as at that time, not many houses were rented out by agents. We didn't have house agents in the middle. And they weren't even agents per se. We had real estate companies, very few, but we had property managers. That's what we call them, property managers, where they go between, that's between the tenant and the landlord. Back then, we had, landlords give out their houses, so you just pay the rent and probably the service charge for like the dustbin and all that. But now, it's about the hike in prices of apartments. You see a 2-bedroom apartment going for 2 million naira. And aside that 2 million naira, you still have to pay some charges. And then by the time you add it up, your first payment will be going to, say, about 2.8 million naira for a 2-bedroom apartment. And when we look at the salary scale in most private and public organizations and companies in Ibadan, it makes no sense as to how one can afford that amount. Is it that, because if we look away, my analyst, if we look away from even these additional charges, if we look at the actual house rents, it has become really, really high and become exorbitant. So is this really a case for the house agents or even the landlords and the amounts they're pegging their house rents at?
You see, Bola, I am old enough to understand that when you see drama, you understand drama. When you see theater, you know that this is theater. You are talking of regulating house agents. NCC, government agency, we just talked about, have not been able to regulate the activities of telcos that we are just complaining about. Now, Lagos State sometime came up with the idea of pegging house rents. They came up with it, just like Oyo State House Assembly I just saw. And many people shouted, Eureka, Daniel has come to judgment. How far did Lagos State government go with that idea? How far did they go with it? Did they fly? They can't fly. Now, this idea of regulating agents in Oyo State, as far as I'm concerned, is just to give some people something to talk about. It's not going to work. Because there's no way. Okay.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, the beautiful little woman.
Good morning to you, Mr. Mario. How
Thank
do you
you
do this morning?
I'm fine. It's Inga Mario calling from Apatan.
You're welcome, sir.
Now, the issue is this. The agents in let me say, nooks and crannies, or let me use your state as an example now.
Okay.
It's like they are even eating much more than the owner of the house, of the house. I mean, the landlord now. I think what the government should do now is to ensure that maybe they form a kind of maybe a committee or what, I don't know how to call it. I mean, to target, such that they will be seeing to the affairs of those house agents. At least that a one-bedroom apartment should not exceed this certain amount.
Do you think that is in reality possible, Mr. Mario?
Yes, it can be. Yes. If it can be, I mean, in our house, what they call the lawmakers in the state, they can do it. If it can be promulgated, I mean, in our law, of course they can do it. If you're a landlord, that you want to, maybe you have to register. I mean, your house is, your address is there and everything. If your house is vacant, let it be known to us. The government can do it if the will is there. I'm telling you, because if that will is not there and the government does not do that, the house agent will kept on as in making life unbearable for those who are looking for houses. Even if you want to go, I mean, to look for an house, they ask you to bring a kind of like a fee. They normally call it that because they want to take you to where the house is. They will cost 5,000 naira. So if I'm unable to get the house at the end of the day, then who benefits from 5,000 naira? So let's leave that aside. Secondly, the issue of the insecurity in Katsina and in, I think, Sokoto, that you said there's some residents of that area that they are leaving the state. See, it will continue to be like Senate, to be like that, because I will want to charge Mr. President as we speak. President Bolanle that, sir, please leave aside 2027 ambition for now and face the insecurity in this country. Your good work will speak for you, even if you are not campaigning. I'm telling you, even if Mr. President can look into this viciously, I'm telling you, I will vote for him. Let him leave to campaign for now. In Katsina now, the government said they are going to release 70 bandits. If 70 bandits should be added up to those we have on ground now, they are going to cost more mayhem. They are going to cost more mayhem. Do you know that yesterday in Ondo State, that Amotekun, they stopped a trailer, and the trailer was not trying to dodge the Amotekun. It doesn't want to stop, but the point was forced to stop. And when the trailer stopped, they check the back of the trailer, and they discovered that they have some armed men, armed with sophisticated weapons like AK-47, and bullets were around them. And the Amotekun they have to stop them. And the question is this: what if Amotekun were unable to stop them, or to know that they have some people like that in that vehicle? What do you think would have happened as we speak? So let government be much more proactive. Let us have state police. Let Amotekun be much more equipped. Let Mr. President forget about 2027 and look into this security. Then it's good work we speak for him. Come 2027.
Thank you so
very
much,
much,
Mr. Mario. All right, we could still take one or two calls. 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 0911-3333-893. These are the numbers to call to be a part of the conversation this morning.
You know, Bola, the conclusion of the whole thing is that...
Let's take this call, please. Okay. Hello, good morning. Hello? Hello, we can hear you. Good morning. All right, you have to call us back.
The conclusion of the whole matter on this estate agent thing is that it's not going to work. Just forget it. How do you...
Hello, good morning.
Yeah.
Please turn down the volume on your radio set.
Okay, I'll do that now. Hello?
Hello, good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
George calling back.
All right, sir.
Well, I was expecting someone to challenge me again for saying what I said earlier. You see, we have laws, and those who are flouting the laws, if you want to look at those who are making our laws not to work, is the politicians. We have people who have embezzled so many money from this country, and they are within the political sphere where they are still earning heavily, and the masses are suffering. I want to now link this with this issue of estate in the country and ask now, who are the owners of estates in this country? Take, for example, when they were announcing that somebody is building an estate in Abuja, nobody was thinking that it's going to be somebody like a Mesiele. In the end, it was announced. Do you know that most estates in this country now are built by the politicians? And you are not talking of regulating the cost of how much you should pay for such estates. Do you think this move that the Oyo State government want to make now will be able to fly? They may conclude the arrangement, but they will still continue to flout it as they are flouting every other law of the land. And that is the reason why the country is in the state at which it is today.
Thank you so
Our
much. Government
should please save this country.
All right. We have to. Thank you, sir. We're running out of time on the show, Mr. George. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, sir. Apologies, but we don't have so much
So,
time.
but it's not going to fly. You forget about what Oyo State House of Assembly, Lagos State did it. Did it work? It can't work. It can't work in a society where there's lawlessness. It can't work. There's nothing like people. Not that we don't know what to do, but we cannot do it because of its selfish interest. So it can't work. It's just an exercise in futility. That's the way I see it. Let's just try and see what will happen at the end of the day.
All right. We see your calls. Unfortunately, we cannot take those calls. Sulaiman Sheriff on Facebook says, good morning and kudos to everyone in the studio. Amnesty deal by Katsina government to release 70 bandits is a complete reckless and a danger to our national security. What kind of peace deal is that when bandits freed in Katsina today may resurface tomorrow in neighboring states or migrate southwards, continuing their murderous activities with renewed impunity? This is not peace building. It is the redistribution of insecurity and encouraging criminals to do more.
Exactly.
Better words couldn't have been
exactly
said. Thank you so much, Mr. Sulaiman Sheriff, for your contribution. Thank you so much, my analyst.
Thank you for having me, Bola. God save Nigeria.
A big thank you to everyone who's called on the show. Don't go anywhere. The sports crew is here, ready to bring you the latest updates in the world of sports. My name is Bolanle Oduekun-Ayoola. Good morning to you, and God bless you.